Welcome back to the Affirm Opulence podcast. We're on episode 3.
Okay.
And you know what that means, right?
Yeah.
More deep diving into Wallace Wattles' The Science of Getting Richj.
Right.
We're using this book to fuel some seriously powerful affirmations designed to attract opulence.
Yeah.
And who doesn't want a little more of that in their life?
Absolutely.
Today we're tackling something I think we've all felt at one point or another. That nagging fear that all the good opportunities are gone, that the doors are closed,
Right.
and maybe, just maybe,
Yeah.
we've missed the boat entirely.
It's a common feeling.
Yeah.
But Wattles confronts this head on in chapter 3. Is opportunity monopolized? And you know what?
What?
His answer might surprise you.
Okay.
He says straight up,
Yeah.
anyone is held back from wealth because opportunity has vanished.
Okay, I get that.
Yeah.
But on the surface, it can totally feel like certain fields are just packed, right?
Right.
Try being the next railroad tycoon today.
Yeah.
Good luck competing with the giants already out
Not
there.
exactly the example Wattles uses.
Oh, okay.
But here's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
He says that while specific paths might be crowded, like your railroad example,
Yeah.
there are always new fields emerging. Think back to Wattles' time. Electric railways were just starting to gain traction.
Right.
Air travel was on the horizon.
Yeah.
Those were the new frontiers of opportunity back then.
So instead of getting hung up on I missed the railroad boom, maybe the question should be,
Yeah.
what's the electric railway or air travel equivalent in my world right now?
That's a shift in thinking we're going for.
I like it.
When you start looking for those emerging currents of opportunity,
Yeah.
you'll find they're everywhere.
So how do we do that?
Right.
How do we go from feeling stuck to actually recognizing these new opportunities? I mean, Wattles talks about the steel worker who feels trapped. He doesn't say to try and be the best steel worker,
Right.
but to shift focus to something totally different,
Yeah.
like agriculture.
That example is brilliant
Oh.
because it shows how important it is to align yourself with the natural flow of opportunity
Okay.
rather than trying to force your way into something already overflowing.
Interesting.
It's about recognizing that the landscape of opportunity is constantly shifting and evolving.
So for our listener,
Right.
the question is this: what feels saturated in your field? Where might the current of opportunity be flowing that you haven't even considered yet?
Those are powerful questions to reflect on.
Yeah.
And here's another layer Wattles adds that I find fascinating.
Okay.
It's not just about individual action. It's
Yeah.
about collective thought, too.
Oh, interesting.
He observed that the working class in America during his time had a very different mindset compared to the working class in Belgium.
Okay.
The Belgians were more successful with cooperative industries. And Wattles suggests this was because they actually believed it was possible.
So you're saying our beliefs about opportunity actually shape what we see as possible?
Exactly.
Wow.
It's like if we keep telling ourselves there's no room for us,
Yeah.
we're less likely to spot the open doors.
Right.
But if we affirm,
Uh-huh.
I am surrounded by abundant opportunity, we begin to perceive the world differently.
You know,
Yeah.
this is where Wattles gets a little,
Yeah.
well, metaphysical.
Okay.
He introduces this idea of original substance,
Right.
the formless stuff that everything is made of,
Yeah.
and he claims this substance is limitless and constantly creating.
Oh. I know it sounds a bit out there,
Okay.
but think of it this way. It's not about literal matter,
Right.
but the potential for creation.
Yeah.
Just like there was potential for electric railways and airplanes before they existed,
Uh-huh.
there's infinite potential for new innovations,
Oh, sure.
new industries,
Yeah.
new opportunities we can't even fathom yet.
Okay, so tying this back to abundance mindset, if the universe is constantly creating,
Right.
why limit our thinking about what WE can create?
Right.
What doors might open if we embrace this idea
Yeah.
that there's always more than enough to go around?
And that's where affirmations become such powerful tools.
Okay.
By affirming abundance, we align our thoughts with that creative energy of the universe.
So let's talk about how we can craft some seriously powerful affirmations
Okay?
based on what we've learned from chapter 3.
Yeah.
You know, affirmations that can help us tap into this limitless potential
Yeah,
and open those doors to opportunity we might be missing.
absolutely. Let's start with that fear of limited opportunity.
Okay.
A great affirmation to counter that could be,
Yeah.
instead of fixating on closed doors, I am open to recognizing new and abundant opportunities. For Try saying that a few times. You feel the shift in energy.
Wow, it really does feel like opening your mind to possibilities you couldn't even see before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Another powerful one could be,
Okay.
I am not limited by my current circumstances. I am guided by the flow of opportunity towards my opulence.
I like that.
This one helps us move away from feeling stuck
Yeah,
and instead trust that there's a larger force guiding us towards our goals.
I love that.
Yeah,
It's like surrendering to the current instead of fighting against it.
that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And to connect with that limitless creative potential Wattles talked about.
Okay.
You could use an affirmation like,
Yeah.
I release limiting beliefs about scarcity and embrace the infinite creative power of the universe.
This one makes me feel almost limitless.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
anything is possible if we tap into that creative energy.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It opens us up to the idea that there's always more than enough to go around,
Uh-huh.
that we can connect to a source of abundance that never runs dry.
These are amazing affirmations. And I encourage you listening to use them
Yeah.
or even create your own based on chapter 3.
Absolutely.
Really take the time to internalize these ideas
Right.
and feel that shift in your energy and your perspective.
And remember, the key is to repeat these affirmations with conviction,
Yeah.
feeling, and genuine belief.
Speaking of belief,
Yeah.
I'm curious,
Right.
what about those times when it's tough to believe? You know, when you're feeling really stuck and that scarcity mindset creeps back in.
Right.
How do we overcome that and make these affirmations truly stick?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And Wattles addresses this by emphasizing the importance of
Yeah.
acting in a certain way.
Okay.
It's not just about thinking positive thoughts.
Okay.
It's about taking aligned action that reinforces those beliefs.
Okay, so what does acting in a certain way actually look like?
Right.
What practical steps can we take to align our actions with these affirmations of abundance and opportunity?
First, it's about becoming aware of those emerging opportunities.
Okay.
The electric railways of our time, as we talked about before.
So paying attention to trends, being curious,
Right.
stepping outside our comfort zones.
Exactly. Read industry publications.
Okay.
Go to conferences.
Yeah.
Talk to people in different fields.
Right.
You never know where that spark of inspiration might come from.
I think it's important to point out
Yeah.
that this doesn't necessarily mean quitting your job tomorrow
Right.
and diving headfirst into something brand new.
Exactly.
It's about gradually shifting your focus,
Yes.
exploring new possibilities while still honoring your current commitments.
Absolutely.
Right.
It's all about finding that balance between taking calculated risks and being responsible.
Okay.
Now, the second part of acting in a certain way
Yeah.
is about developing the skills and knowledge needed to succeed in those new arenas.
So if you're that steelworker intrigued by agriculture, start reading books about farming.
Yeah.
Maybe take some online courses.
Right?
Even volunteer on a farm to get some real-world experience.
Exactly.
Okay.
Invest in yourself.
Uh-huh.
Build your expertise.
Yeah. And become the kind of person who naturally attracts those opportunities.
You know, this ties back to affirmations too.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just affirming, I am wealthy,
Yeah.
we can affirm, I am continuously learning and growing,
Right.
becoming more valuable every day.
That's a powerful one.
Yeah.
Because it emphasizes the journey, the process of personal development that ultimately leads to success.
Right.
And it's also about believing in your own ability to adapt and thrive in any environment.
And what about the third element of acting in a certain way?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The third and perhaps most important
Yeah.
is about taking consistent action,
Okay.
even when it feels scary, even when you don't have all the answers.
So it's about courage.
Yeah.
About pushing past that fear and taking that first step.
Precisely. Wattles reminds us that fear is natural.
Right.
It's part of the process,
Yeah.
but we can't let it paralyze us.
Okay.
It's about taking that initial step. Then the next,
Trusting that the path will unfold as we go.
and to support ourselves in those moments of doubt.
Yeah.
We can affirm, I am courageous and determined, and I take inspired action toward my goals.
I love that.
Yeah.
These affirmations aren't just empty words.
Right.
They're tools for transformation, encouraging us to take those concrete steps.
Speaking of transformation, let's talk about visualization.
Okay.
Wattles might not explicitly use the term visualization,
Yeah.
but he stresses the importance of seeing ourselves as already having achieved our goals.
He talks about forming a clear mental picture of the opulence we desire, feeling the emotions associated with it,
Okay.
and holding that vision with unwavering faith.
So if our goal is to build a thriving business,
Right.
we don't just vaguely wish for it.
Exactly.
We vividly imagine ourselves running that business,
Yeah.
feeling that joy of success, and believing it's already ours.
Right.
Yeah.
And as we do that, we align our energy with our desired outcome, making it more likely to manifest in our reality.
So to connect this with affirmations,
Yeah.
we can create statements like, I see myself living in my dream home, surrounded by abundance and joy.
Right.
Or I feel the excitement of achieving financial freedom, and I know it is already mine.
Those are great examples.
Yeah.
These affirmations, combined with vivid visualization, create a powerful synergy that propels us towards our goals,
Right.
bridging the gap between our current reality and our desired future.
It's like we're creating a magnet
Yeah.
that draws our dreams closer to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And remember, the key is to practice these techniques consistently
Okay.
with unwavering belief and a heart full of gratitude.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Make affirmations and visualization a part of your daily routine.
Right.
Write them down.
Uh-huh.
Say them out loud.
Yeah.
Feel them deep in your heart.
And as you do that,
Yeah.
you'll start to notice subtle shifts in your thoughts, feelings, and actions.
You'll start attracting new opportunities, making better decisions,
Yeah.
and taking bolder actions that lead you closer to your opulent life.
And don't forget to celebrate those wins along the way.
Yes.
No matter how small they may seem.
Acknowledge your progress,
Right.
appreciate your efforts,
Yeah.
and allow yourself to feel the joy of each step forward.
Because those small victories build momentum and reinforce the belief that you are on the right track.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive,
Yeah.
I want to encourage you listening to revisit those affirmations we shared and really embrace the power of acting in a certain way.
Right.
Remember, opportunity isn't some finite thing.
Yeah.
It's constantly expanding, evolving,
Right.
and waiting to be discovered by those who are open,
Yeah.
receptive, and willing to take aligned action.
And with the right mindset, the right tools, and unwavering belief,
Yes.
you can create the opulent life you desire.
You know, I'm still thinking about that, acting in a certain way.
Yeah.
It's such a powerful concept. I mean, it's one thing to affirm abundance and opportunity,
Right.
but it's another thing entirely to actually embody those beliefs through our actions.
It's about walking the walk,
Yeah.
not just talking the talk.
Exactly.
And Waddles gives us some really practical guidance on how to do that.
And it all starts with that shift in perspective, right?
Yeah.
Recognizing that opportunity isn't some limited resource,
Right.
but something that's constantly expanding and evolving all around us.
It's like that limitless bakery analogy we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
There's always a fresh batch of opportunities baking, just waiting to be discovered.
You know, that reminds me of something else Waddles mentioned that I found fascinating.
Okay.
The idea that our thoughts and beliefs can actually shape the reality we experience. He talked about how the working class could change their circumstances
Right.
if they collectively believed in the possibility of cooperative industries.
That's such a powerful concept.
It is.
And it ties directly into the power of affirmations.
Well, okay.
By consistently affirming abundance, opportunity, and our own creative power. We're not just changing our thoughts.
Right.
We're influencing the very fabric of reality.
I know that might sound a bit out there to some people,
Yeah.
but think about it.
Yeah.
Our beliefs influence our actions. Our actions create results,
Right.
and those results shape our reality.
Yeah.
So in a way,
Uh-huh.
our thoughts do have the power to shape our world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy in the most positive sense.
I like that.
And when we combine that with the understanding that the universe itself is constantly creating,
Yeah.
evolving, and expanding, it opens up a whole new realm of possibilities.
It's like we're tapping into this infinite source of creative energy.
Right.
And our affirmations become the blueprints for what we want to manifest in our lives.
And this is where things get really exciting.
Okay.
Because it means there are no limits to what we can achieve. If we can conceive it, believe it, and act on it,
Yeah.
it can become a reality.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Chapter 3 of The Science of Getting Rich,
Yeah.
I want to leave you with this. If you truly believed in an inexhaustible source of opportunity, a limitless bakery of potential,
Right.
What would you dare to dream and create?
What would you pursue if you knew failure was impossible?
Wow.
That abundance was your birthright, and that the universe itself was conspiring to support your success.
Those are powerful questions.
Yeah.
Sit with them. Journal about them. Let them spark your imagination and ignite your passion.
Absolutely.
Because the truth is, you are capable of achieving far more than you could possibly imagine.
We believe this deep dive has given you the tools and inspiration to start creating the opulent life you deserve.
Don't forget to revisit those powerful affirmations we shared and keep practicing them with conviction and gratitude.
And remember, we're here to support you every step of the way.
Join us next week as we explore another chapter of the Science of Getting Richj
Okay.
and unlock even more secrets to attracting opulence.
Sounds good.
Until then, keep affirming your greatness, keep taking inspired action, and keep believing in the infinite possibilities that await you.